Hello, everybody. I hope your day has been going super well. And since you clicked on this video, that must mean that you're looking to get better at Dark Souls games. Well, there are three easy steps to becoming a better Souls player. Now, not all of these can be applied to all Souls and or Souls-like games. Like with Sekiro, you need to master perfect blocking or just blocking in general. While in Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3, you need to master the dodging mechanic. But this list should be a good stepping stone for you to become an overall better Souls-like player or Souls player or whatever. But anyway, just because you do some of the things here, it does not mean that it will make you a god at Souls games, but I'm sure it will help you nevertheless. Anyway, enough yapping. Let's go ahead and jump straight into this, shall we? This is the foundation. This is what sets the tone. This is this is the most important step out of the entire list, in my opinion. And that is not being afraid of death. Now, what do I mean by this? Well, Dark Souls is known for being an insanely difficult and hard game that can make people not have a lot of confidence when coming into these games, which is fine. I was there too. I was right alongside you with that one. But you have to, and I mean you have to overcome that lack of confidence. The mindset you should be going into this, well, if you're like a new player, what you should be going into this is you have the biggest dick in the room. Or I know this is a little cringe, but it worked for me. But anyway, it's that meme where I'm not trapped in here with you, you're trapped in here with me, that kind of thing. You have to go in with that kind of mindset. Like, you have to be confident about it. Because the point of this step is to not be afraid of death. Like, that's the whole that's like the whole point of this step, is to stop being scared of dying, stop being afraid of failure. You're going to die a lot in Souls games. That's just part of the games. That's just going to happen. So why be afraid of death? You know what I mean? Now, does that mean just throw your life away, keep dying, and just learn nothing from it? No. You should know when to fear it, but also not fear it. You should respect it. You should also learn from your mistakes that you made beforehand. Like, oh, was I too aggressive? Was I too passive? That kind of thing. If it makes any sense, once you've mastered the step, the second step comes way easier. The second step is going to be so much easier for you. This step requires you to have an iron will and face death in the face. So that's why we covered overcoming death first, is because this one is so pivotal to Dark Souls as well. It's not as pivotal as, getting over the fear of dying and failure and all that shit. Like, you know what I mean? But anyway, now this one is probably the hardest in skill level to overcome or to get down or whatever you want to do. What do I mean by mastering dodging? Well, it's kind of easy and kind of hard at the same time. Basically, it just means dodging, which is rolling, pressing the B button or A button or whatever the fuck, I forgot, at the perfect time. And hence why the first step is to stop being afraid of death. That comes with it, right? And not panic rolling. This is something that all players have done and sometimes still find themselves doing occasionally. What do I mean by panic roll? Well, with the footage in front of you here, as you can see, basically all I'm doing, I know I'm not in a boss, but all I'm doing is just rapidly pressing B button. That's all I'm doing. I'm just rapidly pressing it. And that is panic rolling. We just press B, you just dodge. You just literally don't even think about it. You just press B because you're panic rolling. That's what I mean by it. But anyway, it doesn't matter, like, your skill level, like, when you started. Some players still, like myself included, still find themselves occasionally doing panic rolling, which you have to minimize the best you possibly can in order if you want to become better at this game. Now, how does one stop panic rolling? That's like how do I stop doing that? The key thing that I figured out is do not get in your head. It's literally just in your head. Panic rolling is all in your head. Just don't get in your head about it. Just literally wait until the attack almost hits you, until they actually like swing their thing or punch or something just wait till they swing it. This can be applicable to every boss that has a sword that can swing, all those types of bosses. You just have to not get in your head. That's like the biggest part of panic rolling, is when you get in your head and you're like, it's like with a charge attack, like, oh, he's gonna hit now, and he doesn't, and then you're like, oh god, when is it? Then you just start, panic rolling. That's how it occurs. Just don't do that. Wait until you just have to wait until he or she swings, or do whatever whatever their attack is. and then you can dodge it. You know what I mean? And I know it's going to be hard to get the timing down because enemies have, different timing. But the rule, wait until they swing their blade or fist or whatever rule should work on most, if not all, enemies in Dark Soul games and, Souls-like games. And that does, obviously, as I said, include bosses. So really mastering dodging, it's really not that difficult if you just don't get in your head about it, okay? That's what holds a lot of players back from becoming good in Dark Souls, is they get in their head about it. You don't need to get in your head about it, okay? This game is truly simple, okay? Just don't get in your head about it. It's that simple. Oh god. Okay, here we go. Step 3. This is going to be a controversial one to Dark Soul veteran. But anyway, I'm going to explain what I did in my first playthrough of Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3. All I did was I Googled OP build, and I just went with the ones I wanted. Like with Dark Souls 3, I went with the Spellblade Twin Swords, or whatever they're called. I forgot what they're called, but I'm pretty sure there's something like that. With Dark Souls 2, I went with the Rapier, and Dark Souls 1, I went with the Black Knight Halberd. You don't have to use these builds, obviously. You don't have to, use what I used, but you can look up OP strength builds, OP magic builds, any way you want to play this game. I'm sure there's an OP build. And don't be discouraged to use OP things and by players that say, if you don't play this game with a controller behind your back, with both eyes blindfolded and doing a no-hit run, then you aren't playing the game. Don't listen to those players. If you beat Dark Souls with the best of best gear, and more importantly, you probably had fun doing so. So my third and final tip, go find some fun builds. It makes the game 100 times more enjoyable than if you did not, if you went into this not knowing what the fuck you were doing. But anyway, yeah, go find some fun builds. It doesn't matter, they put them in the game for a reason. They made them this broken for a reason. And you're just starting off with Dark Souls. You may as well have fun while you just start out. After you get used to the combat, after you get used to all that, then you can start doing like the bullshit no one cares about. But personally, I would just go with the most OP stuff because it's usually the funnest. But anyway, yeah, those are the best tips I can give you when it comes to this game. Now, when it comes to these games, excuse me. But something to note, I am not a god of these games. However, I did all three of these steps, and I beat every single boss in Dark Souls 1, 2, 3, and Elden Ring. And that does include DLC bosses. So there is some merit in what I'm saying. But anyway, if you found this helpful, then I'm super fucking happy I could help you become a better player. And yeah, that's about it. See ya.